I think I've learned my lesson about having a spat with another creator here on YouTube. Now, my own personal circumstances where I gave too much time, energy and attention to a person on here who wasn't getting any views despite making videos about me. And it ended up getting really nasty because this person doxed me, followed my family online, posted pictures of my other half and my kids on their social media pages, and managed to get people from this country, because this person doesn't live here, to take photos of my family and property. The fool then went on to make a video with himself in it, calling for conservative wives and daughters, that's kids, children, to be blown up and murdered. And you know what they say, folks, give them enough rope, and that's the end of that. And I know some of you are going to say, well, you've picked a fight with Alex Belfield. Listen, Alex Belfield is far more famous and well known than I am. The guy has he has nearly 400,000 subscribers and is a bit too busy to stalk other people than to, give a shit what I do. I mean, I'm small fry. Alex Belfield won't give a damn what I say about him. And besides, apart from taking the piss out of his ginger hair, I just questioned his motives. I think I put forward valid concerns about the guy. And so I come to the Van Man Talks. The reason I'm doing a video on the Van Man Talks is because the guy has 9,000 subscribers, all right? He's not a nobody. It's no mean feat, you can't take that away from the guy. Because achieving 9,000 subscribers and keeping hold of them, it's not easy. It's hard work. So this guy is getting attention and his subscriber count is growing. And I'm making this video now about him because I feel I have a right to reply, because he's said something about me which I have to refute, and it's completely untrue. I am sure most of my subscribers, especially the ones from my previous channel, can back me up on this one. But before we go on to that, if you don't know who the Van Man Talks is, he is obviously a political YouTuber. He's left-wing, he is a socialist, and he makes political videos while driving in his van, obviously, around Brighton, probably the second most woke city in the UK. Now, he did a video exclusively about me, which you can find on his channel. And the title of this video is My Apparent Obsession with Twitter and the Woke, which is very hypocritical of him because if you go into his playlists, 51 videos are about the nasty Tories. So, as with all woke lefty socialists, it's okay for them to have an obsession with someone, but no one else can. He says I shouldn't be talking about Twitter because Twitter isn't very relevant. Now, I'm not saying what people should put on their channels, but what's not relevant to one person is relevant to someone else. Now, my reasoning for my alleged obsession with Twitter is that I believe Twitter is very relevant, and it's relevant to everyone in the country. Because politicians, the authorities, the police, they're all on Twitter. Twitter has made Boris Johnson and other MPs, politicians, change their minds and policies. Twitter has a sinister hold on famous people because they go on Twitter, they want to get that verified blue tick. It's a coveted thing, getting a blue tick Twitter account. And they want the adulation of the hysterical and, fanatical woke mob on there. And you can't get that unless you're left-wing as fuck. Twitter can influence political party policies that can be enacted into law, and the law affects us all. So that is my reasoning why I think Twitter is relevant to everyone. But this guy, Van Man Talks, thinks we should all be concerned and making videos about and worrying about the Tories, the nasty Tory party, because the Tories are affecting his life. Well, to that I say this. The people in government right now, they're not Conservatives and they're not Tories. And to prove that, let's have a look at what they've done since they've been in government. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, has been trying desperately to implement the net zero policy, which is a climate change issue. And in order to implement that, taxes would have had to rise significantly, because going green isn't cheap. That is a left-wing socialist policy. And then we've got taxes. This government has taxed more than any other government for the past 40-odd years. They have also borrowed heavily. And Rishi Sunak printed more money in order to give it free to people to sit on their arses during the lockdown. And printing money causes inflation to rise, which is where we are today with the cost of living crisis. So raising taxes and printing money is a left-wing socialist policy. Then we have the issue of immigration. As I said in my previous video, 20,000 illegal migrants have crossed the channel this year alone, and the government have done absolutely nothing about it. Now, the Rwanda plan sounded like a good resolve to this whole thing, but it wasn't. What the government wasn't telling us was that while we were meant to be shipping illegal migrants over to Rwanda, we were taking in people from Rwanda. So mass migration, illegal or not, open door policy, it's a lefty socialist thing. So, the Van Man talks, he says he is concerned about the Conservatives and affecting his life, yet they're all socialists, all right? They might as well be wearing red ties, the people in government right now. So they're right up his alley. He should be voting for them. And then he moans about Brexit. There's like a couple of videos about Brexit on his channel. And you can't be a fully fledged member of the Luftwaffe without having a go about Brexit. He's blamed Brexit for everything. And we should be back within the European Union to make everything better. Well, guess what? What's happening over here with the cost of living crisis is happening in the EU, so it's not a Brexit thing. And he also had a bit of a cry about the fact that the England female football team didn't play a black player for most of that Euro tournament. And his reasoning for that is that the British population, or the English population, is 14% black. So there should have been black players in the team simply because of that statistic, which is rubbish. So he's clearly for ticking boxes and, appeasement rather than tactics and winners. So that's the Van Man talks. That's what he's about. And I had a little back and forth with him in the comment section of both our channels. And that's where I intended to leave it. However, he then said this.
It's so hard when something is staring someone in the face and you try and tell them. But they just won't listen. But now, finally, people are actually starting to... A lot of these other channels that are very similar to Belfield are now starting to see what he's for. Their eyes are open. And it's funny that it's taken this far for the charges to come against him, for them to actually realise what this guy's about. The other channels I've mentioned, these ones, they're all putting videos out now, like, Belfield's a bit dodgy, actually, isn't he? Yes, of course he is! And he puts out the exact same tripe that you do. The exact same bloody anti-woke nonsense videos that you put out is what Belfield's putting out. But you're alright, obviously, aren't you?
So there we go. In that video, Van Man Talks suggests that myself and, was it History Debunked? I can't really speak for History Debunked, but people who followed me since the beginning of my YouTube thing, you will know I have never ever endorsed, nor have I ever been on the Alex Belfield bandwagon. And to suggest I have been until he was convicted of stalking a few days ago, it's just really disingenuous and just shows poor research. And those who know me, you know what I'm like on here. If I'm wrong, and I will say I'm wrong. But this is completely untrue. I have always called out Alex Belfield. Ever since he came to my attention, the guy has always rung alarm bells for me. And I have always questioned his motives, etc. and why he did YouTube. And I've since been vindicated. The guy's a wrong'un. So, Van Man, if you can't get your facts straight, stick to just driving around Brighton, mate. And I know you seem desperate to have a debate with me on politics on one of our channels. But I'm going to let my subs decide on that. After all, if it wasn't for them and their continued support, I wouldn't have the success I'm enjoying now on YouTube. So it's up to them. Let me know in the comments. So there you go. That's my video. I hope you like. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Was I justified in making this right of reply? Or should I just have ignored him? What do you think? Let me know. And also, if you would like to see me upset this guy with some facts during a debate live on one of our channels, also let me know in the comments. And that's it. Until the next time, enjoy the weather. I think it's starting to rain now, thank goodness. So I'm off to strip naked and stand in the garden and get drenched. Can you imagine that? Anyway, until the next time, Roger Trout.